Hello viewers, this is Dr. Sunil Kumar Ahuja. Welcome to Brain and Disease Corner. Today I will be teaching you obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. Previously this disorder had been classified under the anxiety disorders, but now in DSM-5 this disorder has been separated from the anxiety disorders and reclassified under the obsessive compulsive and related disorders. As per the DSM-5, patients with OCD has obsession, compulsion or both. Obsessions are characterized by recurrent and persistent intrusion of unwanted, unpleasant, unlikable, undesirable thoughts, images, urges, sensations or impulses that evoke great anxiety or distress to the patient, and patient tries to avoid, suppress, ignore or neutralize them with other thought or actions, that is by performing compulsions. Compulsions are the recurrent behaviors like washing, checking, or mental acts like praying, counting, or repeating certain words silently. Compulsions are done in response to obsessions or to reduce great anxiety or distress associated with obsessions, or to prevent some dreaded events, or to conform to certain private rules. Patient with OCD spends more than 1 hour per day in obsession, compulsions, or both, and these evoke great distress to the patient and impairs patient functioning, whether it is functional, social, personal, or other areas. So patient with OCD has four main features. First one is the presence of unpleasant obsessions, second one is the compulsions, and third one is the patient spends more than 1 hour per day, and fourth one is the impairment of functioning or presence of great distress or anxiety. Now coming to the specifiers of OCD. There are two types of specifiers of OCD. First one is the insight related, second one is the tick related. In insight related OCD, there are three subtypes. First one is the patient with good insight, second one is the patient with bad insight, and third one is the patient with the absent insight. In patient with the good insight, they believe that their obsessive thought may not be true. In bad insight, patients believe that their thoughts may be true, and in absent insight, they believe that their thoughts are completely true. Now coming to the tick related OCD. In this tick related OCD, either patient has current history or past history of tick disorders. Now coming to the clinical features of OCD. There are five subtypes of OCD. First one is the contamination type, second one is the doubt type, third one is the intrusion type, fourth one is the symmetry type, and fifth one is the other types. In contamination type of OCD, patient has an excess fear of getting or contracting the illness. They have excess disgust or concern with germs, dust, bodily waste, or secretions like stool, urine, saliva, sweats, or environmental toxins or chemicals. They believe that infection is spread from object to subject or from subject to subject through on slightest contact or merely passing or going nearby to that object or situation. Either they avoid or on encountering these feared objects or situation, they frequently take bath, washes hands, changes clothes, undergarments or bed sheets. They also clean their environments. Now coming to the symmetry OCD. Here patient wants things to be done very symmetric, precise, well perfect, organized and in an order way. When they find things are not being done as they want, they become angry, and because of this tendency, they never complete projects before the deadline, or they complete projects very slowly. Now coming to the doubt OCD. It implies the danger or safety. Here patient frequently checks their activities like doors, gas stove or locks to reassure oneself that they have done it correctly. In some patients, thoughts regarding health status and safety of their family members or house will catch fire also pop-ups. Then they frequently call their family members to check or confirm the health status and safety or take measure to prevent the occurrence of imagined dreaded events. And some patients with obsession doubts on their relationships. They frequently think that whether they are the good husband or not, they are good son or not, they may end up cheating their family members or spouse, and his or her spouse is not faithful. This kind of obsession is also called infidelity obsession. Sexual or death related obsessions. Some patients also have ruminations. In ruminations, patients excessively think of daily stuffs, past events, or future events. Unlike the typical ego-dystonic obsessions, patients with ruminations does not find these ruminations as objectionable, so they don't try to avoid or suppress them. In ego-dystonic aggressive obsessions, patient has fear of causing harm to oneself or others, like stabbing, pushing, strangulating to others or oneself. While driving, some persons also think of accidents. These types of ego-dystonic aggressive obsessions are also called harm obsessions or hit and run OCD. Some patients also have thoughts of throwing muds, stools, saliva, urine even onto the god. They also have the thoughts of licking the toilet seats or eating the stools. In ego-dystonic sexual obsessions, patient sees naked images or doing sexual intercourse with someone even to the with God. In death-related or suicidal obsessions, patient has frequent thought of I will die or my family members will die. Unlike the typical depressive suicidal wishes, patients with a suicidal obsession does not want to die. As these aggressive sexual or suicidal obsessions are ego-dystonic or repugnant to oneself, they frequently causes anxiety, distress, fear, or guilty. And patients with these obsessions also have fear of they may end up doing this. So to protect oneself or others, they hide the knives, ropes, etc. Some persons also frequently check online the common properties between the self and criminals. They also take a reassurance from the others or take a step back from the feared situations or objects, or some persons also judge their necks or suppress their thoughts. Now coming to the etiologies of OCD. Here I will be focusing on the biological aspect. There are various neuroanatomical, neurophysiological, neurochemical, genetic, and cognitive affective studies have been proposed. As per the neuroanatomical model, the main cause of OCD is malfunction or hyperactive corticosteatothalamo-cortical circuit or CSTC loop. How this malfunction CSTC circuit causes OCD? For that, first of all, we have to understand what this CSTC circuit is and how it works. In case of OCD, this CSTC circuit is composed of frontal cortex, especially anterior cortex and orbitofrontal cortex, striatum, especially the caudate nucleus and the thalamus. Information of the anterior cortex and orbitofrontal cortex initially are sent to the striatum, then this striatum sends the information to the thalamus. Now this thalamus projects back the information to the frontal cortex. The main function of the anticingulate cortex is to detect the error and amplifies the associated emotions. And the main function of the orbitofrontal cortex is to take decision in favor of correcting the errors. And these corrected informations are sent to the striatum. Then this striatum filters out the irrelevant information and filter in the relevant information to the thalamus. Basal ganglia execute this function through its direct and indirect pathway. Direct pathway is the go pathway and indirect pathway is the no go pathway. That is, direct pathway filter in relevant information and Indirect pathway filters out the irrelevant information. It, that is, direct pathway activates the thalamus and the frontal cortex, and indirect pathway inhibits the thalamus and their. So here we can say that anticingulate cortex and orbitofrontal cortex is the cognitive affective loop, and basal ganglia, that is striatum, and the orbitofrontal cortex is the motor loop. Dysfunction in any one part of this loop may end up causing dysfunction in the other part of this loop. So how this malfunction CSTC circuit causes the OCD, I will explain it by two ways. Suppose if a patient is having a contamination OCD and there is a dysfunction of the anticingulate cortex, then this dysfunction anticingulate cortex excessively detects the error in form of hands are not properly washed, and it also generates or amplifies the associated disgust feelings. Then these two information are sent to the orbitofrontal cortex. Then this orbitofrontal cortex takes decision in form of hand washing. Now this hand washing information are sent to the basal ganglia, that is striatum. Then this striatum filters in the information to the thalamus, and then this thalamus send back the information to the frontal cortex. And in second example, suppose there is a dysfunction of the basal ganglia, for example in case of Huntington disease, where excessive destruction of the indirect pathway occurs, which leads to the imbalance in the direct and indirect pathway, and this imbalance occurs in favor of the overactivation of the direct pathway. Then this overactivated direct pathway activates the thalamus and the cerebral cortex in excess amount. So from here we can say that orbitofrontal cortex and anticingulate cortex causes the obsession mainly, and the basal ganglia and orbitofrontal cortex loop causes the compulsion. Various imaging, lesional and surgical studies have also supported this neuroanatomical model. In structural imaging studies, low volume of the orbitofrontal cortex, normal volume of the anticingulate cortex and increased volume of the thalamus was found. Studies regarding the volume of the caudate nucleus was inconsistent. Hyperactivity of the anticingulate cortex, orbitofrontal cortex and caudate nucleus was found in various functional imaging studies like functional MRI, SPECT and PET during rest, symptom provocation, cognitive task application or during pre or post treatment. And in various studies, thinning of the orbitofrontal cortex, an increase in the grey matter of the caudate nucleus and decrease in the grey matter of the anticingulate cortex was also found. Now coming to the neurochemical studies. Proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy, drug studies, chemical analysis in the CSF and the plasma has also reported there is an abnormality of some chemicals. Proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy has found reduced level of the N-acetyl aspartate, that is NAA, in anticingulate cortex. And various drug studies, CSF and plasma studies has also reported reduced level of the serotonin and increased level of the dopamine or glutamate. Now coming to the genetic studies, various family, twin, candidate gene and genome-wise associated studies have also supported a genetic role in causation of the OCD. Now coming to the other types of OCD. Here are various subtypes like scrupulous OCD, homosexual OCD, pedophilic OCD, need to know OCD, sensory motor OCD and various other types. I will explain each of them one by one. Scrupulous OCD. A subject is excessively preoccupied of doing things right, socially, ethically, morally, religiously or spiritually. They give great weightage to honesty, truth, altruism, worship and other values. And they devalue dishonesty, corruption, lying, harming others and other bad things. So they are excessively concerned with social or ethical or religious matters. Their concern is to the extent that even certain taboo issues like masturbation or even mosquito killing is sin for them. Whenever they come across the god temple or god's picture, they start praying covertly or overtly. They fear that if they do not follow social, religious, or ethical standards set by the society, or religion, or even person himself, they will be sent to the hell after death, or they will be considered as a sinner. Now coming to the sensory-motor OCD. It is also called somatic OCD, body focus OCD, or hyperarousal OCD. Here a patient pays attention excessively to external stimulus like background noises or on one's body parts, viscera, normal physical sensations or physiological functions like breathing, blinking, swallowing, heart beating, bowel bladder functions or ringing ears or itching. Here patient excessively thinks, what if I stop breathing, what if I choke because I did not chew food well enough, or what if my heart stops pumping. So out of the fear, he patient frequently watches his or her pulses whether these are uh, slow or fast, or he also observes his swallowing mechanisms like in what amount I have produced this saliva and how frequently I swallow the saliva. And in need to know OCD, patient wants to know the answers of the certain themes like what happens after that, or if he misses the names of some important person, he tries to find it out through asking the some other persons or continuously searching in online. Now coming to the treatment of OCD. Here I will be discussing on the pharmacotherapies and somatic therapies. Pharmacotherapies will be discussed first, then somatic therapies. Pharmacotherapies. Here we have to keep certain information in our mind. First one is the effect of serotonergic drugs occur after 4 to 6 weeks of starting treatment. Second one is the maximum effect occur after 8 to 6 weeks of starting treatment. Third one is the anti-obsessive dose of serotonergic drug is more than the antidepressant dose of these serotonergic drugs. For example, antidepressant dose of fluoxetine in case of depression is 20 mg, but in case of OCD it is high, around 80 mg per day. As we know that there are 4 chemicals to be implicated in etiology of OCD. First one is the serotonin, second one is the dopamine, third one is the glutamate, and fourth one is the GABA. So drugs which are given, they target these 4 chemicals. First line treatment in the OCD is the serotonergic drugs like SSRIs and the clomipramine. Other drugs are the buspirone and the venlafaxine. If the drugs does not show effect, then we can try other drugs like atypical antipsychotics like risperidone, glutamatergic drugs like the memantine and clonazepam. Now coming to the somatic therapies. As we know that the corticostriatal-thalamocortical circuit, that is CSTC loop, has been implicated as a causative agent in the etiology of OCD. So these somatic therapies target this CSTC circuit. There are the various somatic therapies available like stereotactic neurosurgeries, deep brain stimulation and transcranial magnetic stimulation. Electroconvulsive therapy is not effective in OCD. In stereotactic neurosurgeries, there are the 4 types of surgeries available, and these are surgeries bilateral cut is made in the white matter tract of this CSTC circuit. These neurosurgeries are: first one is the cingulotomy, second one is the anterior capsulotomy, third one is the subchordate tractotomy, and fourth one is the limbic leucotomy. In cingulotomy, a cut is made in the cingulate bundle. In subchordate tractotomy, a lesion is made just anterior and below to the caudate nucleus. In anterior capsulotomy, a lesion is made in the anterior limb of the internal capsule. And in limbic leucotomy, this is a combined subchordate tractotomy and cingulotomy. This is all about the OCD. If still you have any queries, please comment on the comment box. I will try to solve it. Thank you so much for watching this video.